Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, welcome to chemistry class for pre-9th. The topic which we are going to discuss today is compounds and mixture. This topic is given in your textbook on pages 7, 8, 9, and these pages are taken from your chapter number 1, Fundamentals of Chemistry. So first topic here is compounds. Definition first. A substance made up of two or more elements chemically combined together in a fixed ratio by mass is called a compound. कंपाउंड एक ऐसी चीज़ या ऐसे सब्सटेंस को कहा जाता है जो दो या दो से ज़्यादा एलिमेंट से एक केमिकल रिएक्शन के नतीजे में मिलकर बनता है. इसमें जो भी एलिमेंट हिस्सा लेते हैं वो एक फिक्स रेशो बनाते हैं जो कि उनके वज़न के लिहाज से होता है. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, द फर्स्ट एग्ज़ाम्पल जो हम यहाँ पर नोट कर रहे हैं वो है कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, एंड द फॉर्मूला ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज CO2. बेसिकली कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज फॉर्म्ड when elements of carbon and oxygen are combined chemically in a fixed ratio of 12:32 or 3:8 by mass. How? Have a look. What is the atomic mass of carbon? So atomic mass of carbon is 12. What is the atomic mass of oxygen? The atomic mass of oxygen is 16. How many carbon atoms are involved in the formation of carbon dioxide? So there is no number written in front of carbon at the base. यहाँ कोई नंबर नहीं लिखा हुआ. तो सपोज ये कार्बन एक की तादाद है, यानी एक एटम कार्बन का हिस्सा ले रहा है. सो वी विल गेट मल्टीप्लाई 12 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 1, दैट गिव्स यू 12. अगेन, what is the atomic mass of oxygen? As we have written here, 16. Multiply it with the number of atoms in front of it, which are 2. So 16 2s are 32. Is it clear to you? Okay. So afterwards, what are we going to do? We will make a ratio between carbon and oxygen. So how you will make a ratio? Ratio is indicated by a sign of colon. Colon sign is used in between carbon and oxygen. So we will start in this manner: C ratio O, carbon ratio oxygen. Now we will put the values of carbon, that is the atomic mass of carbon, along with the number of atoms by multiplying with the number of atoms. So the result is, or the value is 12. So we will write the 12 under carbon. Afterwards we will put a ratio sign over here, and then under oxygen we will write or give the value of oxygen, that is the atomic mass of 2 atoms of oxygen, which are 32, or which is 32. So this is the one ratio that is in front of you, that is 12:32. Now we are going to simplify it. How you will simplify it? By multiplying it or by dividing it by a table which you think that it can get simplify your this 12:32. So we are taking here the table of 4. As we know that 4 3s are 12. So we will write 4 not here. We will write 3 under 12. So it will become 4 3s are 12. Then putting the ratio sign once again. Now again same table will be applied for the next. 4 8s are 32. We will not write the table. We will write only this number, that is 8 under 32. So 4 is the table by which we are dividing 12 and 32. So 4 3s are 12 and 4 8s are 32. So what is the simple ratio or the fixed ratio by mass we have found from this answer? It is 3:8, which indicates that 3 refers to the carbon and 8 for the oxygen. So 3 is the fixed ratio for 3:8 is the fixed ratio by mass between the carbon and oxygen atoms in carbon dioxide. Similarly, another example of compound is water. What is the formula of water? Yes, it is H2O. Now, water, as you know, it is also a compound which is formed by the chemical combination between hydrogen and oxygen. Again, in a fixed ratio by mass. That is fixed ratio by mass. What does this mean? First of all, you have to write down the atomic mass of hydrogen. So, what is the atomic mass of hydrogen? It is 1. We have to memorize this value, okay? And then we have to count the number of atoms which are written in front of at the base of hydrogen. It is 2. So 1 multiplied by 2 is equals to 2. Now again, number of oxygen atom first of all, and also the atomic mass. So what is the atomic mass here? As I told you in the previous example, it is 16. Multiply. How many number of atoms of oxygen are participating in the formation of water? So no number is written in front. It means it is 1. So we will multiply 16 multiply by 1 is equals to 16 ones are 16. Now fixed ratio by mass we have to find out, and then for this purpose we are going to do H ratio O. Why H ratio O? Because two elements are participating, hydrogen and oxygen. So first of all we will put the value of 2 under hydrogen in this manner, and then again ratio sign, and for oxygen 16 will be written under O. Now this is the first form or fixed ratio that comes. Now we will simplify it by dividing it with same number. And which number we are going to select? Yes, we have only option is 2. So 2 ones are 2. 2 eights are 16. What will be the final ratio that comes? So this ratio is called, or normally given, 1:8, which indicate that 1 is the atomic mass of hydrogen and 8 is the atomic mass of biomass of oxygen will be participating in the formation of water. So this ratio is fixed, and this fixed ratio indicates that normally the compounds have fixed ratio by mass. So this will clear from the definition as well. Now some of the properties of compounds. Heading is properties of compounds. So this will become your third heading, properties of compounds. Very first property of compound is that due to all these combinations which we have seen in the examples, elements lose their own property. First property is elements lose their own properties or individual properties and produce new substances which are the compounds, and that have totally or entirely different properties. For example, water is in front of you. Now water is actually the combination of two elements or gases, hydrogen and oxygen gas. Now as you can see that hydrogen and oxygen are gases. They are gases, while the product which is formed due to the combination of these two gases is water, and it is liquid. So from this description of the first property of compound, you can easily clear this concept that elements lose their own properties. That why? Because these are gases, and why they are losing their property? Because these gases are converting into liquid. So entirely and totally they are actually changing their states of matter. Is it clear to you? So entirely different properties have been seen in the formation of substances or compounds. Even their different physical properties can also be changed, like smell, color, their boiling point, melting point. So all these factors, all these properties are changing along with their formation of the new substances, which are entirely different or having different properties. Another property of the compound is that compounds have their general formula, they are represented by means of some formulae, and these formula can be represented in the form of water. That water has the formula H2O. Ammonia is also a compound. You can write example of ammonia or formula of ammonia as NH3, and you can also write some other examples like carbon dioxide, CO2, and so many other compounds. Third property of the compound is that compounds can't be broken down. So compounds cannot be broken down, into which compounds अपने constituents में कभी भी नहीं टूटते easily. So cannot be broken down into its constituents. Its constituents mean components. And you can even apply different physical method, but the compound will never be broken down into their constituents. So this will become the third property of the compound, and this indicates that if once the water is formed, it will not be broken down into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas again. So this is very difficult to return back the water into its constituents. So water is a compound and H2 and O2 are actually the components or constituents. What is the meaning of constituents? जैसे हम उर्दू में अज्जा बोलते हैं, अज्जा यानी वो components वो जो कि किसी भी reaction में हिस्सा लेते हैं, and basically they are also called reactants. So this time they are product, but we can say that water cannot be broken down into its components by applying physical methods. The next subheading of compound is classification of compounds. Compounds can be classified into two types, or there are two classes of compounds. Number one is ionic compound, and the next one is, or the second one is covalent compounds. Now the first, ionic compounds. What are ionic compounds? Basically, ionic compounds do not exist in independent molecular form. They form a three-dimensional crystal lattice structure in which each ion is surrounded by oppositely charged ions. And these oppositely charged ions attract each other very strongly, and these strong forces of attraction among them is basically called ionic bond, or also called in the form of forces, that is called electrostatic forces. So as a result, ionic compounds have very high melting and boiling point, and these are represented by their formula unit, and different examples of ionic compounds are sodium chloride NaCl, potassium bromide KBr, copper sulfate CuSO4. इस टॉपिक में बेटा मैंने आपको बताया कि आयनिक कंपाउंड्स क्या हैं. आयनिक कंपाउंड बेसिकली वो कंपाउंड्स हैं जो आयंस से मिलकर बनते हैं. इनमें आयंस जो हैं वो मौजूद होते हैं. व्हाट आर आयंस? आयंस आर बेसिकली दोज ग्रुप ऑफ एटम और एटम्स which contain some charges on them, like sodium plus chlorine in case of sodium chloride. So sodium has positive charge while chloride has, or chlorine has, negative charge on it. So due to their combination, due to their mixing up with each other, they are forming a solid substance called sodium chloride, which is an ionic compound. Next thing which is important here, that normally ionic compound do not exist or they do not have independency. They are not existing as. Next subheading of compounds is classification of compounds. Compounds can be classified into two types. Number one, ionic compounds, and number two, covalent compounds. Covalent compounds. Now the first one is ionic compounds. Basically, ionic compounds do not exist in independent molecular form. Now what is the meaning of this independent molecular form? कि ये आज़ादाना हालत में मॉलिक्यूलर या मॉलिक्यूल्स की शक्ल में नहीं पाए जाते. जैसा कि आपने बहुत सारी गैसेस को देखा है, जैसे ऑक्सीजन, हाइड्रोजन as well as nitrogen. So all these gases are present in the form of molecule like O2, H2 and N2. But if we will talk about the ionic compound, then normally ionic compound को लिखने के लिए जब आप Na को लिखते हैं तो हम उमूमन ऐसा देखा गया है कि आप Na2 नहीं लिखते. Why? In the similar manner, इसी तरह आप Cl जब लिखते हैं, हालांकि ये क्लोरीन गैस है, लेकिन जब ये NaCl के साथ फॉर्मेशन करती है तो इसको आप Cl2 नहीं लिखते. The reason behind that they do not exist in independent molecular form. तो ये हालत इन ionic compounds में नहीं पाई जाती जैसा कि दूसरी गैसेस में मौजूद है. The next property of the ionic compound is they form a three-dimensional crystal lattice. Crystal lattice. What is the meaning of this? That basically इनका जो स्ट्रक्चर होता है ये एक सॉलिड शेप में होते हैं और इस सॉलिड शेप में ज़्यादातर ये 3 डायमेंशन में पाए जाते हैं. 3 डायमेंशन में हमारी मुराद होती है x, y एंड z. जिस तरह से आप ग्राफ ड्रॉ करते हुए अपने 2 एक्सेस लेते हैं, विच इज़ वन कॉल्ड x एक्सिस एंड अदर वन इज़ कॉल्ड y एक्सिस. इसी तरह हमारा एक 3 डायमेंशन जो स्ट्रक्चर होता है उसमें हमारा एक z एक्सिस भी पाया जाता है. सो ये नॉर्मली 3 एक्सिस होते हैं जिसको हम 3 डायमेंशनल यानी 3 तरफ डायरेक्टेड जो हमारे या डायरेक्शंस होती हैं उसके नतीजे में हमारे पास ये फॉर्मेशन बनती है. सो 3 डायमेंशनल मीन 3 directions x, y and z. Then we have another point of crystal lattice. What is the meaning of crystal lattice? यानी उर्दू में इसको कहा जाता है कि ये कलमी जाली बनाते हैं. कलमी जाली, क्या मुराद है कलमी जाली से कि इनका स्ट्रक्चर कैसा होता है? ये बिल्कुल एक सॉलिड शेप में एग्जिस्ट करते हैं बाकायदा तौर पे, और जब आप इसको ड्रॉ करते हैं तो ये ऐसी क्यूब की शेप एक बन जाती है जिसमें बाकायदा तौर पे आप ये बताते हैं कि किस तरीके से डिफरेंट कॉर्नर्स होते हैं और जहाँ पर ये डिफरेंट आयनिक कंपाउंड यानी आइंस, जैसा कि नाम से ज़ाहिर है कि आइंस हैं. तो आइंस कितनी तरह के होते हैं? ये पॉजिटिव भी होते हैं और नेगेटिव भी होते हैं. मिसाल के तौर पर अगर हम NaCl की एग्जांपल आपके सामने लिखें तो Na पॉजिटिव होता है और Cl नेगेटिव होता है. जब हम अपनी एक क्रिस्टल लैटिस में NaCl को इंसर्ट करते हैं या NaCl के स्ट्रक्चर को यहाँ पर देखते हैं कि ये किस तरह का क्रिस्टल लैटिस बना रहा है, तो इसमें हमारे पास फॉर्मेशन कुछ ऐसी होती है कि मिसाल के तौर पे मैं अगर यहाँ पर लिखती हूँ ये Na है, Na पॉजिटिव है. सो ऑन द अदर हैंड यानी यहाँ पर इसके अतराफ में जो आइंस इसको घेरे में होंगे वो ऑब्वियसली कौन से आइंस होंगे? यानी क्लोराइड के आइंस होंगे, Cl नेगेटिव. इसी तरह इसके दूसरी साइड पे कौन से आइंस होंगे? ये भी क्लोराइड के आइंस होंगे. सो द प्रॉपर्टी अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस इट इज 3-dimensional crystal lattice normally formed in which each ion is surrounded by oppositely charged ion. यानी हर पॉजिटिव चार्ज के अतराफ में यानी जो घिरा होगा पॉजिटिव चार्ज उसके अतराफ में 2 नेगेटिव चार्ज होंगे. इसी तरीके से अगर ये क्लोराइड आयन है जो इस पर नेगेटिव चार्ज है तो इसके अतराफ में कौन से आयन्स जो हैं वो मौजूद होंगे? यानी इसके ऑपोजिट वाले, तो ये होगा सोडियम प्लस. तो इसका मतलब है क्लोराइड सेंटर में आ रहा है जिसमें नेगेटिव चार्ज है, और इसके अतराफ में कौन से चार्ज हैं जो इसको घेरे हुए हैं या सराउंडेड है, पॉजिटिव चार्ज. सो दिस इज अनदर प्रॉपर्टी related to the ionic compounds. Another property of ionic compound is that they are formed by oppositely charged ions, as we can see in sodium chloride. So sodium positive and chloride negative form an ionic compound NaCl, that is sodium chloride, which is the common salt. So formation of NaCl is dependent on two oppositely charged ions which are actually attracted together or attracted by strong electrostatic forces. So these forces are too strong to bind these two ions together and form this compound, that is ionic compound called common salt. Due to this strong forces, or as well as strong bonding, that is called the ionic bond present in NaCl, NaCl has high melting as well as boiling points. Here MP means melting point and BP mean boiling points. Another property of ionic compound is, now I am writing here, these compounds are represented by their formula units. This is another property, formula units. Now what is formula unit? Normally we are writing the formula of different compounds in different way. But what is the formula of NaCl basically called in case of ionic compound? So it is called formula unit. If I say what is the formula unit of sodium chloride, then your answer will be the formula unit of sodium chloride is NaCl. Normally we are not calling this formula as chemical formula. Is it clear? So it is not even called molecular formula. What are the formula of ionic compound called? They are called formula units. And some of the examples you have seen earlier: sodium chloride, potassium bromide, copper sulfate. These are some of the examples of formula units. Another type of compounds are called covalent compounds. One of the significant property of covalent compound is they mostly exist in molecular form. As you can see that this molecular form does not exist in ionic compounds. So what do you mean by molecular form? For example, oxygen is a gas, but we cannot write oxygen only with the symbol O, because the gases are always represented by means of O2. In the similar manner, different types of compounds are represented in the form of molecules. For example, ammonia. One molecular form of ammonia can be written as NH3. So this will become the molecular form of ammonia. Now, molecule is basically a representative of the covalent compound, and normally all covalent compounds have their formula represented as molecular formula. But the molecular formula are not shown or not represented in case of ionic compound. Here we are writing normally the formula of the compound as formula unit. Formula units. So molecular formula is the representation for the covalent compounds. Examples you have to note down. Some of the examples of covalent compounds are H2O, water, HCl, hydrogen chloride, H2SO4, sulfuric acid, NH3, ammonia, CH4, methane. CH4, methane. So these are some of the examples of covalent compounds. Now in your book on page number 8, there are some common compounds with their formula. First of all, water, which has the formula H2O, sodium chloride, which is commonly called common salt, silicon dioxide, which is commonly called sand, having formula SiO2, sodium hydroxide, caustic soda, NaOH, sodium carbonate, washing soda, Na2CO3 with 10 water molecules, which are basically called the water of crystallization in them. Calcium oxide, which is commonly called quicklime, having formula CaO. Then CaCO3 is the formula of calcium carbonate, that is limestone. Sugar has formula C12H22O11. Sulfuric acid has formula H2SO4, and the last one, ammonia, having formula NH3. So you have to memorize all these formula along with their common name as well, and write down on your loose sheet or notebooks. Next topic of the day is mixtures. Mixtures. By the name it is clear, mixtures means mixing different substances together. So, first of all, the definition of mixture. So, write down the definition first. Mixtures are basically formed when two or more elements or compounds mix up physically without any fixed ratio. मिक्सचर्स दो या दो से ज़्यादा एलिमेंट्स या कंपाउंड से मिलकर बनते हैं जो फिजिकली कंबाइन करते हैं, जबकि हमने कंपाउंड्स में देखा था कि वो केमिकली कंबाइंड होते हैं. इसी तरीके से दे डू नॉट हैव एनी फिक्स रेशियो बाय मास, व्हाइल कंपाउंड्स हैव फिक्स रेशियो बाय मास. Some of the examples of mixtures are, to write down the next heading, examples. The first example which we can give here is air. Air is a mixture of different gases in which the different gases are present not in a fixed ratio. Is it clear? So air is a mixture of different gases in which the different gases are not present in any fixed ratio by mass. In the similar manner, we have another example from the solid, like we can add here soil. Soil is also a mixture in this manner that it is made up of sand, clay, salts which are mineral salts, water, and even air is also present in soil. And all these substances or all these compounds are not present in again a fixed ratio. They do not have any permanent or fixed value. Sand can be found in different amounts, clay as well as salt, water and air. So they do not have any fixed amount or concentration found in the soil. So soil is a mixture because it is made up of more elements or compounds. Next heading is properties of mixtures or characteristics of mixture. You can also write properties of mixtures. Now, first property of mixture is related to their separation of components. The mixture can, or the component which are present in the mixture can easily be separated. So separation of components can easily be done by applying physical method. Separation of their constituents or components can be done by using different or applying different physical methods, while these methods are not applicable for the separation of compounds. Now, what are these methods? What are these physical methods which are normally used here? So we can even write the method name here. Names of method are distillation. Then we have, I'm writing in points so you can easily understand. Number 2, evaporation technique, and number 3, filtration. These are all physical methods by which you can separate out the components of mixture. Number 4, crystallization. Crystallization, or you can also say magnetization, that magnetic separation technique. Magnetization. So all these methods are basically called the physical method by which or by using which we can separate the components of mixture. The next subheading of mixture is types of mixtures. Types of mixtures. Mixtures have basically two types. Number 1, homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture. And number 2, heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture. Now the first, homogeneous mixture. This is the first one. Homo mean same. Homo mean same, while the hetero mean different. If the composition throughout is same, then this type of mixture is called homogeneous. So what is homogeneous mixture first of all? Which have uniform composition throughout, or same composition throughout. That we cannot identify the boundaries or the constituents which are present in the mixture. For example, air is a good example of homogeneous mixture. In the similar manner, gasoline, petroleum, and ice cream are the other examples of homogeneous mixture which have the same composition. On the other hand, we have another type of mixture called heterogeneous mixture which have different composition throughout. That is, it hasn't got the uniform composition. So I am writing here not uniform throughout, or their composition is not uniform composition. Why not uniform? Because we are calling them hetero, and hetero mean different. So they have different composition throughout, and they can be identified separately. For example, soil, rock, and wood. मिक्सचर की दो टाइप्स मैंने आपको बताई, एक है होमोजीनियस और दूसरी है हेट्रोजीनियस. होमोजीनियस में होमो का वर्ड एक जैसे यानी सेम के लिए इस्तेमाल हुआ है, जबकि हेट्रो का लफ्ज़ डिफरेंट यानी मुख्तलिफ के लिए इस्तेमाल हुआ है, जिसको इंडिकेट करने के लिए हमने कुछ एग्जांपल्स लिए हैं. मिसाल के तौर पे अगर आप एयर लेते हैं तो एयर के अंदर डिफरेंट गैसेस पाई जाती हैं. एयर इज़ अ मिक्सचर ऑफ डिफरेंट गैसेस. अब ये गैसेस हमें बज़ाहिर नज़र नहीं आती, यानी ये पूरी जो एयर है वो एक यूनिफॉर्म कॉम्पोजिशन ऑफ गैसेस पर मुश्तमिल है, जिसमें हम ये आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर सकते कि हाइड्रोजन कहाँ पर है, हाइड्रोजन गैस कहाँ है, ऑक्सीजन गैस कहाँ है. तो हमारे पास जब डिफरेंट गैसेस किसी एक मिक्सचर के अंदर सेम कॉम्पोजिशन में नज़र आए, यानी सेम कॉम्पोजिशन में हमें नज़र तो नहीं आ रही लेकिन हमें फील हो रहा है कि वो एक ऐसी यूनिफॉर्म कॉम्पोजिशन में है जिसको हम सेपरेटली आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर सकते कि हाइड्रोजन अलग है या ऑक्सीजन अलग है. सिमिलरली वी हैव अनदर टाइप ऑफ मिक्सचर विच इज़ कॉल्ड द हेट्रोजीनियस मिक्सचर. तो हेट्रोजीनियस मिक्सचर क्या है कि जिसमें कॉम्पोजिशन जो है वो डिफरेंट होती है. जैसे सॉइल के अंदर अभी थोड़ी देर मैंने पहले बताया कि क्ले होती है, सैंड, स्मॉल स्टोन्स होते हैं, छोटे छोटे पत्थर होते हैं, सॉल्ट्स होते हैं, वाटर होता है, एंड सो मैनी अदर थिंग्स आर प्रेजेंट इन डिफरेंट कॉम्पोजिशन. इसका मतलब ये हुआ है कि सॉइल के अंदर जो आपको कॉम्पोजिशन जितनी भी नज़र आ रही है वो आप आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं. आपको बज़ाहिर नज़र आता है कि उसके अंदर स्टोन्स मौजूद हैं, उसके अंदर रेत या मिट्टी या जो भी आपके नमकियात वगैरह हैं या पानी है, जो भी आपने उसकी कॉम्पोजिशन जो है वो आपको जो नज़र आ रही है, दिख रही है, वो आपकी हेट्रोजीनियस कॉम्पोजिशन कहलाती है. यानी डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट जो उसमें मौजूद हैं वो आपको अलग अलग आइडेंटिफाई हो रहे हैं. तो अगर कॉम्पोजिशन आपकी यूनिफॉर्म नहीं है, एक जैसी नहीं है, डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट डिफरेंट कॉम्पोजिशन में मौजूद है, तो इस तरह का मिक्सचर कहलाता है होमोजीनियस, दैट इज हेट्रोजीनियस मिक्सचर। वाइल होमोजीनियस मिक्सचर में आपके पास एग्जांपल मैं दे चुकी हूँ, एयर, गैसोलीन एंड आइसक्रीम, विच डू नॉट basically show the uniform composition, but they do not have visibility in them, हमें ये नज़र नहीं आता, इसलिए हम इसको क्या देते हैं, same composition. So this is the end of today's lesson, and afterwards we have to write down the characteristics between the compounds and mixture, which is mentioned on book page number 9. I'm writing next the headings for these differences. You have to find out at least these 7 differences along with the formula in the end, that is example. So make sure that you have to write down the formula, any 2 formula of each, both compounds and mixtures. So Allah Hafiz. Now the last topic of the day is differences between a compound and mixture. Differences between a compound and mixture. In this case, you have to find out some of important point which I'll write over here, and you have to find the differences among them by using these key points. For example, the first point is you have to write down the definition first in short way, in short form. Definition for the first point which you want to write. Then properties of constituents. Then heading is properties of constituents or components. You can also write components for your convenience. For the third point, you have to write down the heading composition. Composition. Number 4 is about the separation technique which are used for separating the components of compound or mixture. So separation techniques or separation methods. Separation of components you can also write. Fifth heading which we have to write is chemical or general formula they have. Chemical formula. Chemical formula. Then number 6 point heading is you have to write their nature, or you can even write about their composition, rather they are homogeneous or heterogeneous. So you can even write this point in the composition of here, but I will write down here the nature. So what is the nature of their composition? Nature of composition. Then we have 7 point here about their physical properties. Physical properties, because both show some physical properties. For example, melting and boiling point. So you can write the physical properties in this way, that compound have fixed melting point, while the mixture do not have sharp and fixed melting points. And in the end, you have to write your 8th point in the form of example, in which we have to quote 2 examples of each, that is 2 examples of compound and 2 examples of mixture of your choice. So this is the end of today's lesson. I hope you have understood it very clearly, and hope for the best. Allah Hafiz. Now the last topic of the day is differences between a compound and mixture. Differences between a compound and mixture. In this case, you have to find out some of important point which I'll write over here, and you have to find the differences among them by using these key points. For example, the first point is you have to write down the definition first in short way, in short form. Definition for the first point which you want to write. Then properties of constituents. Then heading is properties of constituents or components. You can also write components for your convenience. For the third point, you have to write down the heading composition. Composition. Number 4 is about the separation technique which are used for separating the components of compound or mixture. So separation techniques or separation methods. Separation of components you can also write. Fifth heading which we have to write is chemical or general formula they have. Chemical formula. Chemical formula. Then number 6 point heading is you have to write their nature, or you can even write about their composition, rather they are homogeneous or heterogeneous. So you can even write this point in the composition of here, but I will write down here the nature. So what is the nature of their composition? Nature of composition. Then we have 7 point here about their physical properties. Physical properties. Because both show some physical properties. For example, melting and boiling point. So you can write the physical properties in this way, that compound have fixed melting point while the mixture do not have sharp and fixed melting points. And in the end you have to write your 8th point in the form of example, in which we have to quote 2 examples of each, that is 2 examples of compound and 2 examples of mixture of your choice. The next subheading of mixture is types of mixtures. Types of mixtures. Mixtures have basically 2 types. Number 1, homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture. And number 2, heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture. Now the first, homogeneous mixture. This is the first one. Homo mean same. Homo mean same, while the hetero mean different. If the composition throughout is same, then this type of mixture is called homogeneous. So what is homogeneous mixture? First of all, which have uniform composition throughout, or same composition throughout. That we cannot identify the boundaries or the constituents which are present in the mixture. For example, air is a good example of homogeneous mixture. In the similar manner, gasoline, petroleum, and ice cream are the other examples of homogeneous mixture which have the same composition. On the other hand, we have another type of mixture called heterogeneous mixture, which have different composition throughout. That is, it hasn't got the uniform composition. So I am writing here not uniform throughout, or their composition is not uniform composition. Why not uniform? Because we are calling them hetero, and hetero mean different. So they have different composition throughout, and they can be identified separately. For example, soil, rock, and wood. मिक्सचर की 2 टाइप्स मैंने आपको बताई, एक है होमोजीनियस और दूसरी है हेट्रोजीनियस. होमोजीनियस में होमो का वर्ड एक जैसे यानी सेम के लिए इस्तेमाल हुआ है, जबकि हेट्रो का लफ्ज़ डिफरेंट यानी मुख्तलिफ के लिए इस्तेमाल हुआ है, जिसको इंडिकेट करने के लिए हमने कुछ एग्जांपल्स लिए हैं. मिसाल के तौर पे अगर आप एयर लेते हैं तो एयर के अंदर डिफरेंट गैसेस पाई जाती हैं. एयर इज़ अ मिक्सचर ऑफ डिफरेंट गैसेस. अब ये गैसेस हमें बज़ाहिर नज़र नहीं आती, यानी ये पूरी जो एयर है वो एक यूनिफॉर्म कॉम्पोजिशन ऑफ गैसेस पर मुश्तमिल है, जिसमें हम ये आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर सकते कि हाइड्रोजन कहाँ पर है, हाइड्रोजन गैस कहाँ है, ऑक्सीजन गैस कहाँ है. तो हमारे पास जब डिफरेंट गैसेस किसी एक मिक्सचर के अंदर सेम कॉम्पोजिशन में नज़र आए, यानी सेम कॉम्पोजिशन में हमें नज़र तो नहीं आ रही लेकिन हमें फील हो रहा है कि वो एक ऐसी यूनिफॉर्म कॉम्पोजिशन में है जिसको हम सेपरेटली आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर सकते कि हाइड्रोजन अलग है या ऑक्सीजन अलग है. Similarly, we have another type of mixture which is called the heterogeneous mixture. तो heterogeneous mixture क्या है कि जिसमें composition जो है वो different होती है. जैसे soil के अंदर अभी थोड़ी देर मैंने पहले बताया कि clay होती है, sand, small stones होते हैं, छोटे छोटे पत्थर होते हैं, सॉल्ट्स होते हैं, वाटर होता है, एंड सो मैनी अदर थिंग्स आर प्रेजेंट इन डिफरेंट कॉम्पोजिशन. इसका मतलब ये हुआ है कि सॉइल के अंदर जो आपको कॉम्पोजिशन जितनी भी नज़र आ रही है वो आप आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं. आपको बज़ाहिर नज़र आता है कि उसके अंदर स्टोन्स मौजूद हैं, उसके अंदर रेत या मिट्टी या जो भी आपके नमकियात वगैरह हैं या पानी है, जो भी आपने उसकी कॉम्पोजिशन जो है वो आपको जो नज़र आ रही है, दिख रही है, वो आपकी हेट्रोजीनियस कॉम्पोजिशन कहलाती है. यानी डिफरेंट कंपोनेंट जो उसमें मौजूद हैं वो आपको अलग अलग आइडेंटिफाई हो रहे हैं.